Good morning, students. Our subject is Design of Concrete Structure 1. Our today's topic is a limit state of collapse flanged beam. In the last lecture, we solved and we designed singly reinforced and doubly reinforced rectangular beam. In today's lecture, we are going to study about a flanged beam. Okay, so what is flanged beam? Introduction about this. Beams are load bearing structure which member usually of a uniform cross section. A beam of a rectangular cross section, it is called as a rectangular beam. Those beam having a cross section of rectangular, it is called as a rectangular beam, but the beam must be designed to withstand the load that are expected. Load created stresses which are typically not uniform across the cross section of the beam. Our rectangular beam, the cross section of the rectangular beam is in a rectangular section, so the loads are also uniform, but the section and stresses which are not uniform across a section. So you could have a compressive stresses on top and tensile stresses at bottom. Our compressive stresses is at top and tensile stresses at bottom of the beam. Since the stresses are come at the top and bottom, you need to have more material there. Okay. Hence you need have beam of a cross section shaped like T or L. Such a beam are called as a flanged beam. What is flange beam? The section of a flanged beam is in a T and L shape. It is called as a flanged beam, and here shape of the flanged section like a T and L, it is called as a flanged beam. Why we have to provide a flanged beam? Because the stresses on top and stresses on bottom are not uniform, stresses are not equal, so because of that we have to provide a flanged beam. Now, necessity of flanged beam. Why we have to provide a flanged beam? Why necessity? So in RCC construction, when slab and beam are cast together, the construction become monolithic. When we casted slab and beam monolithically, means same time, it is called as a monolithic. Same portion of the slab above the beam become the part of the beam and help in resisting compressive stresses, and it deflect with the deflection of the beam under a load. Therefore, the effective section of beam become a flanged section having T and L shape. The slab portion of section, it is called as a flanged, and the bottom the portion below the slab, it is called as a wave. You all know the T section or L section. If we take example of T section, T is like this. Upper portion, it is called as a flanged, and lower portion, it is called as a wave. So the intermediate beam having a slab on both sides are known as a T, and the end beam having a slab on one side only are called as a L beam. When we have to provide T beam or L beam, corner portion we have to provide at that section, you can design a L beam. If here your structure end and here it continues, at this section you can easily provided L section. If intermediate, you have to construct the beam at intermediate side. So here also slab, here also slab, here you have to provide beam, then this section it is called as a T beam. Okay, the L beam received the load from one side only. Why load on one side in on L section only? Because this section we constructed in a corner side, and they are subjected to torsion also. If the torsion is less, it can be resisted by nominal shear reinforcement provided in a beam. If torsion is more, the beam shall be designed for it. Now we study here condition of formation of flanged beam. So refer clause number 23.1.1 IS 456 2000, page number 36. On page number 36, condition of formation is given, clause 23.1.1. Refer for this. The slab shall cast integrally with the web. If the main reinforcement of slab is parallel of the beam, transverse reinforcement shall be provided D. Such reinforcement shall not be less than 60% of the main reinforcement at the mid span of the beam. How to formation of the flanged beam? So transverse reinforcement shall be provided depth, means effective depth. Up to effective depth you have to provide a transverse reinforcement. Such reinforcement shall be less than, this reinforcement shall be less than 60% of main reinforcement at a mid span of the slab. So advantages and disadvantages of flanged beam. So advantages of the flanged beam: since the beam casted monolithically, we are casting beam monolithically, slab and beam also, it is called as a monolithically. With the slab, the flanged also take up compressive stresses. What advantages? Here advantages is, when we are casting beam and slab monolithically, at that flange also take up. Flange means this upper portion, it is called as a flanged, and this lower portion it is called as a wave. So flange also take up the compressive stresses. This flange take compressive stresses. Depth of beam is reduced, so it give a better headroom. Due to flanged beam, the depth of beam is reduced, so because of that you can easily provided a headroom. For larger span, T-beam are usually preferred rather than rectangular beam, as a deflection is reduced. T-beam we provided in an intermediate portion. Here is also continuous construction, and here is also continuous construction. Between this portion we provided a T-beam. T-beam are usually preferred rather than rectangular, because deflection is reduced. In a T-beam, deflection is less as compared to rectangular beam. Because of that we provided T-beam here. Now we are going to study disadvantages. We study advantages. Why we have provided a flanged beam, T-beam or L-beam? Because T-beam having a less deflection, and depth of beam also reduce, and when we casted monolithically, it take flange also take a compressive stress. Because of that we provided flanged beam. Now disadvantages: since the beam slab is monolithic, it become a very weak in resisting lateral shear forces. When we casted beam and slab monolithically, at that time it become also a very weak in resisting lateral shear forces. It is very weak to take a lateral shear stresses. Second disadvantages: there is a considerable increases in a shear stresses at a junction. What is junction? Here is slab, and here is a beam. This portion it is called as a junction. Okay. So in shear stresses at the junction of flanged and web of the beam, due to change in a cross section, so casting should be very carefully. This portion is a junction, so have to construct very carefully. These two are the disadvantages of flanged beam. Okay. Now we are going to study effective width of flange. So refer IS 456 2000, page number 36, clause number 23.1.2. effective width of flange means BF, effective width of flange. The effective width of flange may be taken as the following, in but no case greater than breadth of the wave plus half the sum of the clear distance to the adjacent beam on either side. So how to take effective width of the flange? So for T beam or for L beam, both conditions given, how to calculate effective width of flange? Effective width of flange means BF. So BF is equals to L0 divided by 6 plus BW means what? BW, width of wave, plus 6 into DF means overall depth of flange. For L beam, BF, width of flange, is equals to L0 plus BW plus 3DF. BW means width of wave, and 3 into DF is overall depth of flange. Okay. So here three conditions of the beam. So from this you can easily calculate AST, MU and design a section. So before starting design, this portion is very important to calculate AST, MU and design a T beam or L beam. Okay, so there is a three condition to design T beam, L beam. Okay, so first condition is here, strain diagram and stress block diagram for the flanged beam. So case number 1, when XU is equals to or greater than DF, then NA lies with flange, means neutral axis lies with flange, means flange here is a neutral axis. This is a neutral axis, is lies within a flange. Here flange is end, so the neutral axis lies within a flange. This is a first case. So in this first case, BF means width of the flange, D is overall depth, small d is effective depth, C is a cover, AST is area of steel in tension side, BW is width of wave, TF is depth of flange, effective depth. So here is a stress block diagram. TU, CU, tension side, compression side, Z means lever arm, Z is equals to D minus 0.42 XU. This value is 0.42, this value is XU, so 0.42 XU, it is called as a lever arm, minus this value from D, so we get this value, it is called as a lever arm. Okay, so this is a first case. If XU is equals to or smaller, if DF is greater, then NA is lies with the flange. So here B is the width of flange, BW is width or breadth of wave, D is overall depth, small d is effective depth, TF is thickness of flange, XU is the depth of neutral axis, TU is a tensile forces carried by tensile reinforcement, CU is compressive force carried by a concrete flange, Z is lever arm, distance between TU and CU, means here Z is distance between TU and CU, it is called as a lever arm. Okay, now for this first case we have to calculate depth of neutral axis. So for first case, formula to calculate depth of neutral axis is CU is equals to TU. CU means what or TU means what? Compressive stresses force carried by concrete, or TU is tensile force carried by a tensile reinforcement. So CU is equals to TU. So XU formula of Cu is 0.36 FCK BF into XU is equals to 0.87 FY into AST. So if we have to find XU, then formula is 0.87 FY into AST divided by 0.36 FCK into BF. So easily you can find XU for first case. First case is XU is equals to DF or XU is smaller than DF. For that you can easily find XU. Second step is moment of resistance mu. For this first case, if you have to calculate moment resistance, then formula for under reinforcement section is Tu into Z. So Tu is 0.87 Fy into AST, and Z, you know what is Z? Lever R. Lever R means D minus 0.42 XU. So mu formula is 0.87 Fy into AST into D minus 0.42 XU. This is for under reinforced section, and for balanced and over reinforced section, formula is mu max is equals to 0.36 FCK XU max into BF bracket D minus 0.42 XU max. So easily you can find by using this formula, that is mu max is equals to 0.148 into FCK into BD square for 250. For Fe 250, formula to calculate mu max is 0.148 FCK BD square. For Fe 415, formula is 0.138 FCK BD square. And for Fe 500, the formula is 0.133 FCK BD square. So if section is balanced or under reinforced section, and for the different grade of steel, Fe 250, Fe 415 and Fe 500, formula is given. Now third step, for case number 1. Case number 1 is XU is equals to DF or XU is smaller than DF. For that you find XU max or mu max, and then we have to find area of steel AST. So formula to calculate AST is 0.5 into FCK divided by Fy bracket 1 minus under root of 1 minus 4.6 into mu divided by FCK BF into D square. What is BF? BF is width of flange and D is overall effective depth of beam into BF is width of flange and D is effective depth. So by using this formula you can easily calculate area of steel for case number 1. Case number 1 is XU is smaller than or equal to DF. So this is the case number 1. For that you can find AST, XU and mu. Now we are going to study case number 2. Case number 2 is when NA neutral axis lies outside the flange, means neutral axis lies in a web. So it is called as, this is a second case. So XU is greater than DF. When XU is greater than DF and DF is smaller than 0.43 XU, then you can use this case number 2. So BF is width of flange, D is overall depth, small d is effective depth, C is cover, AST is area of steel in tension side, BW is width of web, DF is depth of flange. And here strain diagram and stress block diagram is given here. Here Z and Z1, you have to use Z, lever R1, Z and Z1. So Z is TU, distance between TU and CUW, and Z1 is distance between TU and CUF. So this is called as a Z1. where CUW is compressive force carried by wave portion and CUF is compressive force carried by a flange portion. So here compressive stresses taken by wave and compressive stresses taken by flange. CUW and CUF. What is Z? Lever arm, distance between TU and CUW, and Z1 is lever arm, distance between TU and CUF. So Z is between TU and CUW and Z1 is distance between TU and CUF. It is called as a Z1. Okay, so first step, for second case you have to calculate depth of neutral axis XU. So equating total tension and compression. Total tension and compression is CUW plus CUF. Compressive force in wave and compressive force by flange is equals to TU. So CUW is 0.36 FCK into BW, means width of flange, into XU plus 0.45 FCK into BF minus BW into DF is equals to 0.87 Fy into AST. So we have to calculate here XU. So 0.87 Fy into AST, this value minus here 0.45 into FCK into BF minus BW into DF and divide this portion up to BW. So 0.36 FCK into BW. So by using this formula XU, you can calculate depth of neutral axis. It is a second case. Second case is when XU is greater than DF and DF is smaller than 0.43 XU. So in this case you can use this formula. Second, moment of resistance mu. Calculate moment resistance. So formula to calculate moment resistance is CUW into Z plus CUF into Z1. So what is Z? Lever arm, distance between TU and CUW. And what is Z1? Distance between TU and CUF. Compressive force in wave and compressive force in flange. It is CUW and CUF. So CUW formula is 0.36 FCK into XU into BW. Z formula is, lever arm formula is D minus 0.42 XU plus 0.45 FCK into BW minus BF minus BW into DF. Z1 formula is D minus D dash. So you can easily calculate mu. Third, we have to find here area of steel AST. How to calculate area of steel AST? Formula is TU is equals to CUW plus CUF. You know formula is CUW and CUF. Formula is 0.36 FCK into XU into BW. This formula is for CUW and formula for CUF is this formula. So formula is 0.45 FCK into BF minus BW into DF and TU formula is 0.87 Fy into AST. So you can easily find AST. For second case we study for XU, MU and AST formulas. Now we are going to third case, study about third case. What is third case? When XU is greater than DF. Okay, it is same as per second case, but DF is greater than 0.43 XU. In second case, XU is greater than DF, but DF is smaller than 0.43 XU. But in this case, here DF is greater than 0.43 XU. In this third case, So here AST mu value is also different. So BW is width of flange, BF width of web, BF is width of flange, capital D is overall depth, small d is effective depth, C is cover, AST is area of steel in tension side, neutral axis. Here also neutral axis lies between web or lies below the web. So it is called as a case number 3, and case number 3 is XU is greater than DF and DF is greater than 0.43 XU. So here stress block diagram and strain blocks diagram both are given here. So CUW is Z and CUF is Z2. TU is here. Here one formula is added, YF divided by 2. So what is formula to calculate YF? So what is Z2? Lever arm, the distance between TU and CUF, it is called as Z2. And what is formula to calculate YF? YF formula is 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. 0.15 XU plus 0.65 DF. This formula to calculate YF. Okay. So first step here, depth of neutral axis XU. We have to find XU. So depth of neutral axis XU formula is equating tension and compression. What is tension and compression? Tension is CUW and compressive stresses in flange is CUF is equals to TU. So we equating TU is tension and CUW plus CUF is compression. What is formula for CUW is 0.36 FCK BU into XU, and formula for CUF is 0.45 FCK into BF minus BW into DF. This formula for CUF, and TU formula is 0.87 FI into AST. This formula is same as per case number 2, but here YF is added up before YF is here. So XU is equals to 0.87 FI into AST minus 0.45 FCK into BW into YF. You know value of YF is 0.15 into XU plus 0.65 into DF divided by 0.36 FCK into BW. BW is width of web. Next we have to calculate here moment of resistance. So formula is CUW into Z plus CUF into Z2. So CUW, you know formula, that formula is 0.36 FCK into XU into BW. This formula for CUW. You know formula for Z. Z is lever arm. Formula is D minus 0.42 XU. Plus formula for CUF is 0.45 FCK into BF minus BW into YF. This formula to calculate MU. Now calculate area of steel. Area of steel is TU is equals to CUW plus CUF. So formula of CUW is 0.36 FCK into XU into BW, and CUF is 0.45 FCK into BF into minus BW into YF divided by CU formula is 0.87 FY into AST. So we take AST here. You have to find AST here. So in this case we find XU, MU and AST same as per case number 2, but YF is different in this case. So in today's lecture we are studied what is flanged beam, necessity of flanged beam, advantages and disadvantages of flanged beam, and 3 cases of flanged beam to calculate XU, MU and AST. So for three cases, in these three cases, mu is different, xu is different, and ast is different. So firstly, when we are solving problem, at that time, firstly you have to consider which the section or a t-beam, consider in which case number 1, case number 2, or case number 3. Firstly we have to find our neutral axis lies between which section. So after that you can easily calculate xu, mu, and ast. So firstly, in all problem, firstly we have to find the neutral axis lies between web or flange. Firstly we have to calculate this, okay, and then we easily solve the problem. Okay, so anyone having doubt in today's lecture, you can put your question in chat box. Okay, thank you.